India's UPI has ushered in a revolution on the digital payment space, but with rising UPI transactions, frauds linked to UPI are also rising dangerously. As per the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, UPI fraud complaints rose by a stunning 34% in the first 2 quarters last year. Let's bring on board Dileep Sandberg, founder and CEO Muffin Pay, and Rahul Tyagi, co-founder Safe Security, to understand the modus operandi of these frauds and what you can do to protect your hard-earned money. Hi and good evening. Welcome Dileep and Rahul. Dileep, first question to you. We are talking about UPI, which means we're talking about real-time money transfer between two banks using a VPA. And we know this has been adopted and in fact increasingly being adopted in the country. At the same time, we are seeing scams related to UPI also on a rise. How exactly are these scams done? What's the modus operandi?
So there are multiple ways people are doing this scam via UPI. So I think first of all we need to understand whatever technologies we develop, it comes down to the human psychology. So the two factors are very important, like fear and greed. These are the two important things where all the crimes happen. So I'll tell you like a few of the cases how this fraud happens. So first of all, when you receive the money, the fraud people ask you to enter the UPI, which is never the case. When you receive the money, you never need to enter the UPI. Second thing, where people can clone your QR code and then they can send you the fake IDs in a similar way, like where you want to transfer your funds. So this is another way people do the fraud. Third thing, where people are doing the cloning of the SIM and then they get the OTP. This is how the other way of fraud is happening in the UPI. And on the greed side, sometimes you get the offers, lucrative offers to get a high return. Let's say you are getting 2x of the returns, or you have got the lottery, and they ask you to enter the pin in their application. So this is how the UPI frauds happen when people get into this fear or greed things.
Exactly. We will definitely tell our viewers how not to get scammed. But then, Rahul, there's also one very common way which these scamsters are using, which is by creating a fake emergency situation. What exactly is that, Rahul?
Thank you, Kavita. Thanks for the invite. Absolutely. So I think the emergency situation happens only so every criminal, they want to have to make sure that you will go for a call to action kind of a situation. For example, you will be receiving an SMS that your Paytm, your Phone Pay, or any kind of UPI powered wallet has been debited with 3,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, and to know where it has been debited or even it is credited, can you click on this link? So now, instead of going through the application, most of the individuals want to click on that link, and that's where the fraud happens. So one is this example, and second is sometimes they send you a UPI based application link, like UPI just announced a 5,000 deposit in your account under PM's this Yojana. To do this, click on this link and download the updated version of UPI based Bheem or some other application. Through that, they will make you download a APK file, and once you download that APK file, then the remote access of your device can be in other people's hands. So it's based on most of the individuals, but in most of the cases we have seen, especially for the senior citizens, is two type of scams. One, to create an emergency situation of a money which is being deposited in your account or maybe extracted from your account, and it shows as an SMS as an alert to the user. And to know whether the money is there or not, the person was forced to click on the link. And in most of the situations, people do not go to the application to check any kind of a wallet to check whether the money has been deposited or has been extracted. So they click on the link, and that's where the scam happens.
Rahul, my next question is to you, because I remember this platform was launched by NPCI in 2016, and it seems that you've been working closely at that time with NPCI when Bheem UPI rollout was about to happen, if I'm not wrong. When we're talking about the formation stage, what kind of security wall were included, or the kind of scams you're talking about now, were they not anticipated earlier when these things were being formed?
So absolutely, I think yes. So at that time, definitely we got the privilege to had the first hands on the source code of the application, and we did the due diligence and the security of the application for the country. And if you see the funny thing here, till today, UPI as an platform or as an architecture application was never breached. Most of the attacks are which are happening are basically on the social media, social engineering attacks, where the users are tricked to perform a certain action which results in losing the money from the customer. But from the application point of view, if you see, as an application, what is required to give the security of a user, it's already there. UPI, for example, Beam application, it's the only application having a three level of security layer. One is the your pin code. When you open the application, you need to put a pin code, and then when you do the UPI payment, then again you need to fill the pin code of your UPI. And third is your hardware based detection, your MAC address of your mobile. So they are very rare wallets who are having this layer of security embedded into the system. So as we say that UPI has never thought about these type of scams, because these scams are not a technology related scams. If you see, these are kind of awareness problem which users tricked into to do something. And unfortunately, we can't blame. Fortunately, we cannot blame UPI for that, because at the end of the day, from a technology point of view, they have given everything to secure a user. The only thing which is lacking is how to use the application or all the applications carefully, so that they will not be scammed under these type of scenarios. And I think it's a huge responsibility for all the mobile wallet companies, be it Paytm, be it PhonePe, be it anyone. I don't see that they are doing enough. They are doing good, but that's not enough to really reach the masses to ensure and tell the users how to securely use the UPI payment. And the biggest challenge is once the fraud is happened, then it's mostly a mess for a user. And now the government is getting strict on these scenarios, but still it is, I think, a long way to go from the mobile companies, wallet companies, to coordinate with the UPI to get that funding back once the money is lost by the user.
Dilip, now help me understand, because we are talking about specifically UPI scam. Now, if we talk about the entire ambit of this cybersecurity frauds and financial frauds especially, how much of these are actually UPI scams? Because we also know that millions of users are actually opting on doing money transfer and various kind of financial services using UPI.
So primarily, if you see the fraud cases, so in the last quarter, India registered almost like 1.4 lakh cases for the frauds that happened via UPI. So as he correctly mentioned, that mostly it's not about the technology; it's about the awareness. Awareness. People don't know, how to use the UPI properly. So they just get into the scam. They just get into the fraud basically. So these are the basic parameters where the frauds are happening these days.
Now, let's talk about how not to get scammed. So, your first tip, Dilip.
First tip would be when you're receiving the money, you don't need to enter your UPI PIN. So it's always when you send the money, then you need to enter the PIN. So you need to take care of that part.
Take care of your UPI PIN, and you don't have to insert a PIN when you are receiving the money. Rahul.
So my request for everyone is that it's not an endorsement, but I really encourage everyone to use Beam as your first application for the payments wherever you are using if you want to use the UPI, and never use your PIN code similar with your UPI PIN code. Like when you open the application, I have seen that most of the first level of authentication of that is a 4-digit kind of a PIN code, which is on every mobile payment application. People use the similar PIN code with their UPI PIN code. So if some criminal gets the one PIN code, they know the UPI PIN code will be similar. So it's 1234 to open the application and 1234 to send the payment also. So those PIN code has to be different. And the last thing is they can do is ensure that the mobile number and the email address which is registered with all your payment and UPI based applications, there should be 2-factor authentication protected. Then I think you will be able to secure the things in a very good manner.